I tell that little story in the Fed book about where that name came from is when, after the debate in Detroit on economic matters, I think it was the end of '07, when nobody would admit that we were in a recession, and we were sort of hinting around that, things don't look very good. And that was at that rally up there. It was a big rally, probably 4,000 or 5,000 kids on a liberal campus, and that's where they started chanting, "End the Fed, end the Fed," and would respond positively when I mentioned Austrian economics or Mises. What's going on? There must be a revolution going on in this country. And it's a revolution of idea, and I give a lot of credit to the people in Arizona, actually, maybe for coining that term related to the campaign, and it's carried on. And it's a great state for these ideas. We have a lot of support, but I know you still have a lot of work and effort to do to make sure that you're in positions of influence, to make sure state laws and local laws and federal representation really endorse these ideas. But there is no doubt in my mind that we're making progress. I don't believe any true revolution occurs without the young people involved. But I'll tell you, there was one moment where I really knew we were making progress, and because I think when you catch on, music seems to pick up on these themes, and certainly during our campaign, there were a lot of songs written and a lot of singing, but the one that really got my attention was when I heard somebody doing rap against the Federal Reserve System. And I didn't think I'd ever listen to a rap song, but that was great. That probably reached an audience that I never reach. That's one thing that was very enjoyable about the campaign, was reaching the audience, and I've talked about this so much, is that our ideas are popular and brings people together. And even yesterday in one of the interviews, I say, wow, in this crowd there's people from all segments coming together, and I think that's the most important thing, that there's no reason why, if you stick to the principles of liberty, stick to the Constitution, it is not confrontational. It brings people together, not because we believe in what we want to do with our own money and our own life, but we believe in the principle that our lives belong to us and our money belongs to us. That is what we want. So it's very appealing, and I have no doubt that this momentum will continue. Not only because I believe in the message so strongly, but I believe in the failure of what we're putting up with. And we've been living with a system that has continued from the Nixon years. Nixon, the best thing he did was, I think he at least started talking to the Chinese instead of bombing them. And I don't think that's hurt either of our country. But he also said that we're all Keynesians now, and endorsed the idea that we all believed in the same stuff. In a way, that's what our job is to repeal all that. Somebody asked me not too long ago, what is the individual? Who is the individual that caused the most mess in this country? And they thought I would probably say Bernanke or Greenspan, and they did contribute tremendously. I said no, the one individual was Keynes, because Keynes made it palatable to accept the idea you can have excessive spending, big government, the government is supposed to print money, and all this nonsense. And yet, for years and years, it was well known that it would not be sustainable. And we're at that point. And I think it's being recognized by more and more people that this is true. So therefore, the field is fertile for our ideas, but our ideas are well-rooted already, and we're going to see them sprouting. And we will fill that void, because if we can't do it, I don't like to even think about what would come, because it can be pretty darn devastating. Because the only way they can hold this together is through more authoritarianism, more force, more guns. And we need more gun control, of those guns the government owns. That's what we need control. We have nearly, maybe it's over 100,000 now, nearly 100,000 federal government bureaucrats who carry guns. And they're to enforce all the rules and laws. The founders would be astounded. They didn't even want, they didn't want standing armies or national police forces. Now we have standing international armies and domestic police forces. So and they'll expand on that. Well, where are they going to get the money? Well, they'll have to squeeze it from us. If they squeeze it out with more inflation and more guns or whatever. But there's a lot of people in this country that either remember what we were all about or have learned about it as young people are. So I don't think they're going to push us around that easily. I believe that the most important thing we do is continue exactly to do what we're doing. But I expect that if there's a day or an announcement where the federal government comes in and says to us, all right, if things are bad, we have to change the rules, and the first rule we're going to do is come and we're going to take all your guns and you're going to take your gold and your silver from you. I think that will be, the opening salvo, because they will not be able to do that calmly and peacefully. And that, of course, is what I want to avoid, because I don't like the violence, and I think ideas are much stronger than anything else. You can win with the right ideas, and we are winning. We really are winning this battle. And I feel good when I can be on liberal talk shows and conservative talk shows and talk to them and still have at least an audience that listen. So I want to encourage you to do exactly what you're doing, do more, make sure that you're as well informed as possible, and know that it's not, I want everybody to have fun doing this and coming together and meeting other people. It's very important, but know that this is very important stuff we're doing, and that I believe that once you as an individual become aware of the situation, the problems, and become aware of the answer, your obligation is much greater, because most people in most countries throughout all of history usually ignore it all. Most people sort of go along in their influence, but it's usually 5% or so of the people who are ideologically driven can carry the day. And you're well informed now, you're ideologically driven, you're interested in political action. So there's every reason for you to be energized and do your job, and we'll come out quite well. Thank you very much.
Folks, we're going to reconvene at about 10:10. So we're going to reopen credentialing. If you'd like to join the Arizona Campaign for Liberty, or if you've already joined and don't have a badge, please go to the table outside, see Annette, who's standing by the door, and get your badge, and we'll reconvene in about